Joining me now is Alexis Esposto from Swinburne's University Business School in Melbourne. Alexis, what is driving Bitcoin?
Well, one of the major influences or drivers of Bitcoin is that it is a peer-to-peer version of electronic cash that allows payments anywhere in the world without third parties such as banks. So it bypasses banks, therefore it makes transactions a lot simpler and easier.
What's the simplicity involved in these transactions?
Look, this is a very new technology, so still there is a high level of, relative complexity to use the currency, especially for those who are new to it, because ideally one of the problems that happens is that we can't picture what it actually is. We're so used to holding money in our hands that when we have to think of cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin as an email being sent to another party and that money goes directly to the other person, it becomes a complex thing to understand. So it is one of those new technologies that in my view, is revolutionizing the financial sector. Even though there are lots of people who are highly skeptical because they're not used to it. One of the things that I do see happening is that the millennials are really, really good at it. One of the ways that I got involved in this was 4 years ago. I asked my students to do presentations of what cryptocurrencies were, and I learned so much that I realized that in order to be up to speed with what's happening, you need to ask these young people, because many of the old fogies such as myself take a while to really get these new technologies.
Just taking it further on the issue of the millennials getting it there, the Bitcoin began futures trading today in the US. Does this legitimize the cryptocurrency further?
Well, it legitimizes to another degree. I think it gives it a further push in legitimizing this type of currencies. Remember that it's not just Bitcoin that is a currency. There are over 200 currencies being traded as we speak. The volumes traded in Bitcoin at the moment, the world capitalization today is around $260 billion, which is almost as big as the New Zealand economy. So there is a demand for that type of currency. There is a demand for using that. And the reason that it's being traded in the Chicago exchange, it's because the major players are seeing value in it. Otherwise, they wouldn't get involved. What's
so attractive about this to the major players?
Well, I think that one of the things that they can do is minimize costs, because the technology allows them to conduct transactions almost simultaneously. Some of these coins are very fast in the way in which you could transfer money. But also there are other types of applications of the blockchain in finance. I can think of writing contracts, the fact that you know the origin and the end of a transaction because there is a ledger that's backing it up. The other let's say applications to this is that you can use it in food technology. For example, you can prove that a specific broccoli that was grown in a specific part of Victoria was grown and was transported and had the right chemicals used in the production of those broccoli, and it ended up arriving at the right place, and that it is basically a bona fide broccoli, which basically says it is the goods that we're actually getting. It's not copied or it hasn't been played with in the process of production. And with money, it is a game changer in many respects, because it does get rid of third parties in terms of transactions, and one of those third parties basically is financial institutions.
And Alexis, just very quickly, is there any legal protection for investors?
Well, this is where the risk is. So because of its newness, in many respects, it's almost like the Wild West. You have to be very careful where you store your currency when you buy it. You should have it in hard wallets, which is basically something that you buy and you keep in a very safe place. Of course, it's going to be very volatile, but there's been predictions of the demise of Bitcoin since 2011, again in 2014. Everybody was saying that it was going to collapse on the weekend. It went down to around from $25,000 Australian to around 18,000, and it's back to 23,000. So there is a demand for it. Will it be the cryptocurrency of the future? No one knows. I can't predict. But there is a very interesting saying. A Turkish friend of mine told this to me the other day, and it basically says that when the wise men decide to cross a river, already the crazy people are on the other side. So, which means that there is an element of risk involved, and the people that are taking the risk, and mainly millennials, I believe, seem to be knowing what they're doing.
Very wise advice from your friend there, Alexis. Thank you very much for that explanation and joining me today.
Thank you very much.